Tempus here, hello and welcome to the Stone Guard, the first boss in the Mogu-shan vaults. In 10-man normal, you will fight 3 of these guardians at a time. Which ones you get is randomized per lockout. Each one has different abilities, however they all share solid stone, which means that when one of these critters is not near another one, they take 90% reduced damage, but do not gain energy. We will go through why this is important in a moment. The Guardians have one unique ability each. The Amethyst Guardian has Amethyst Pool, which creates a puddle on the ground beneath a random player. This stuff hurts, so get out of it and stay out of it. These puddles do fade eventually. The Cobalt Guardian has Cobalt Mine. This creates a blue crystal at a random player's location. After a few seconds, the crystals become active, and anybody who goes near it causes it to explode, dealing damage to everyone near it, as well as rooting them in place for a few seconds. You will also want to avoid these. The Jasper Guardian has Jasper Chains. This links 2 random players together, which is shown by chains linking the 2 players. If the 2 players go more than 10 yards apart, the chains will deal massive fire damage, which will get higher and higher the longer the players are far away from each other. The buff will persist until the chains break at 15 stacks. The Jade Guardian has Jade Shards, which is a raid-wide damaging ability. This deals nature damage to everybody. Only one Guardian will be using Petrification at a time. This is shown by an extra bar that will appear on your screen, showing the progress of the Petrification. After the first 5 seconds into the fight, the first Petrification will be cast. 5 seconds after a Petrification ends, another random Guardian will start using their Petrification. The higher this stacks, the slower everyone moves. When it reaches 100, everyone will be paralyzed and you basically lose. While a Guardian is using Petrification, you take 90% less damage from that boss's abilities. So, if Cobalt is using Petrification, you take 90% less damage from all Cobalt abilities. When Jasper has Petrification, you take 90% less damage from all Jasper abilities, and so on. Reaching max Petrification can only be stopped by getting the Guardian who is using Petrification to overload. So if Cobalt is using Petrification, you need Cobalt to overload in order to get rid of it. All the Guardians have their own energy bar, which will tick up, and when it reaches 100, the Guardian will reset its energy to 0 and overload. Overload deals a massive amount of damage to all players in the raid, and breaks the Petrification if the one that overloaded is the same one petrifying. So if Jasper is petrifying and Amethyst overloads, it will not break Petrify. You need Jasper to overload when Jasper is petrifying. The important thing to remember is that if you get the right one to overload, then the ability will deal very little damage, because Amethyst Petrification reduces Amethyst overload by 90%. In order to deal with this correctly, you will need to rotate the Guardians in order to prevent the ones that are not using Petrify from overloading. As when a Guardian is not near another Guardian, it gains solid stone, which means it takes 90% reduced damage, but also does not generate energy. To do this, have the tanks on opposite sides of the room and coordinate taunts, so that the tanks swap Guardians, always keeping one Guardian out and not gaining energy. We found the best way to do this was to start off with one Guardian out, while the other tank took the one using Petrify and one other. When the other one got to 50 energy, the tank swapped so that the one with 0 energy was now next to the one petrifying, and the one at 50 energy was out and not gaining energy. That way, when the one with 0 energy got to 50 energy, we have had the one petrifying us overload. It is very important that tanks do this quickly. It also helps if the tanks stand at max taunt range. Everybody else should be standing roughly in the center of the room while avoiding the various abilities. It is also very important to remember that when a Guardian is petrifying, you take almost no damage from their abilities. So if Cobalt is petrifying, then go and activate the Cobalt mines to get them out of the way. If you have to, you can have a paladin use bubble and then run through them all. A hunter can do the same with deterrence. When Jasper is petrifying, you can break the Jasper chains. The tanks will be taking constant damage from melee attacks and from the boss's bleed effects. DPS should be able to multi-dot and cleave, as there will always be 2 guardians taking full damage. But just remember to only attack a guardian that is next to another guardian, or you will do very little damage. Also be careful to not over aggro. The fight does not have phases and is just rinse and repeat the whole way through. Due to this, it is advised that you use Bloodlust or Time Warp at the start of the fight so you can get the maximum DPS benefit. The fight mainly just requires the tanks to get their taunts right and that everyone else avoids the bad stuff on the floor. And that's it for the Stone Guard. I hope you enjoyed this guide and that it helped you out. And if it did, then be sure to comment, rate and subscribe for more. You can also follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/DGTempusfugit. There is a link in the description to make it super easy. Good luck and have fun.